understand the country is going through a challenging times. With an IMF program coming on board, I'm sure fiscal consolidation being on the top, more on the revenue side, taxes, all that. The question is fiscal consolidation versus economic growth. We have to strike the right balance, right? Why I feel is if you get the Port City proposition right in an AZZ ring-fenced area, that can be that catalyst to drive growth, because the positioning of Port City is not to cater for a 22 million population.
Yes, it's very clear.
We are trying to create a platform for regional businesses, banks to come and set up in Port City to do business elsewhere. Can we be that missing piece in South Asia as an IFC, which you don't have?
We don't.
A gift
clear,
city, was established as a result of a 2005 AZZ law in India. It's not a success. 15 years down, they had
in Gujarat, right?
Yeah, Gujarat International Financial and Tech City. So 2005, they've set up. Their issue was they didn't have an independent regulator. So the Reserve Bank of India, the pensions regulator, the insurance regulator, all had jurisdiction there. Can you imagine? That never worked. And only recently, after 15 years, they have taken time to realize they have a unified one apex regulator called International Financial Services Center Authority, which all of these regulators now come together and they are making some inroads. So similarly, the point is, if you can, under these current situations, because you're bringing foreign currency to the country.
Absolutely.
Offshore, under the banking offshore rules, we are saying, look, your bank accounts are secure, your funds are secure. This is where the regulations will come into play to give the confidence. And you can do business elsewhere. Intervention from the central bank in terms of capital current control will not be there, because these funds were never there and you brought. So long as those are very clearly put down, but I agree with Arun. Look, ring fencing is one, but political stability is a must.
Absolutely.
And also the reputation and that country, we need to build that. It will take time.
But then also one of the failures also of the Gujarat model is because there's a lot of political tension between India and Pakistan and Bangladesh and India. So I think Sri Lanka is a neutral country and relatively a good friend of everybody.
We can cater to SAARC region. No?
But ultimately, it's still Sri Lankans who are going to be running this place. So we have to prove in some way that we are reliable, we are transparent, we are trustworthy, and we are consistent.
Absolutely.
So that's what I'm saying. We have to sort of show that.
Prove. That'll evolve. Yeah.
Coming to you are president of the ACC Sri Lanka division, and you have
immediate past president.
Immediate past president. I'm sorry. Look. Auditing is a critical component, and I think and technology is becoming a great player in this as well. Hopefully, auditing we can leapfrog some of the processes by using technology, and hopefully become one of the leading hubs of this region in terms of auditing our banks, and maybe you can even help others in the region as well. What are your thoughts on that?
I think when it comes to specifically auditing and automation and those kind of aspects. Quite interestingly, maybe about 2-3 years back, American Accounting Association is very well known, more than 100 years, where they came up with a research where they feel the best players in the automation and not really AI, but the automation and the accounting kind of related area, who are the bigger players, top 3 or 4 accounting firms, not even the people who are in business or no banks as well. So they can add a lot of value, and when they come to external audit, also they come up with a lot of the tools that they can use. They look at so many inside information, even though those are not in public domain at all, but they use it for their auditing purposes to identify maybe risk-elevated areas, the early warning signals. Then the maybe fraud and those kind of malpractices. Then they decide through those kind of using those kind of analytical tools, they just look at what are the areas they need to do much more emphasis on. They do quite a lot in that area. I think our issue is data protection and those kind of acts and those kind of conundrum that we engulf in. Sometimes it's going to be a bit difficult for us to maybe replicate what they have been doing. But I think there are the external expertise now. When it comes to local banks, unfortunately, we are bogged down in 1 or 2 or 3, 4 countries. These guys, when they are running in maybe more than 120 countries and then gaining the experiences, I don't like to name the firms. It's going to be bad. So because of that, I mean, they have done so many wonders when it comes to leasing, and new leasing thing came up, and they do a lot of collaboration, and they come up with a lot of AI and automation type of solutions. I think auditing area, they to a certain limited way that they have been adding a lot of value, and sometimes they come up with revelations at the board audit committees and board risk committees, specifically board audit committee. They come up and they talk about a lot of things which really can add value. Maybe piggybacking on some of these, I think if we meaningfully use it, it's going to be very much relevant not only for auditing but even the business context and the strategy as well. That's what I feel.